And welcome back to the second part of this tutorial, guys. I'm going to exit out. Then what I want to do now is I'm going to go straight into tools here, and let's select NuGet Package Manager and select Manage NuGet Package for solution. Click on that. So what I want to do now is to search for MySQL here. Let's type in MySQL. Alright, there we go. I'm going to select this very first one and get it installed. Select projects. Once you click on project, you should be able to click on the name of your file as well. Then I'm going to click on install there, and it is installing right now. Click on OK there, and let's accept the license agreement. There we go. There we go, guys. It's coming up. It's successfully installed. That's fine. So I'm done with that. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come right here, or let's just create our database first there, and let's click on, this is my MySQL workbench. I've just opened that up there. Open it again, MySQL workbench, and I will create on this schema right here. Let's click on this schema. There we go. And I need to give my database a name. So okay, I'm going to call the table course DB. Alright, that's fine. That's what I'm going to call the database, course DB. And I will also call the table course DB as well. And let's click on apply. There, make sure you click on apply and apply again. There we go. And click on finish. And right here, that's my course DB there. If you open it down, you see a table. Right click on that table, select create. There we go. And let's just give that a name, course DB. That's it right there. You see this double header? I'm going to drop it down. And right here, let's enter my very first field or column. So that's going to be student ID. The student ID will be my primary key. It's now going to be known, and it's going to be unique value. And right underneath here is going to be the first name, surname, followed by surname, and I'm going to go for address next. Then we have gender. Below that, that will be date of birth, DOB. Then I should have maybe a mobile there, and email. And underneath that, I'm going to have the course, then course code there. No, that should be course code. Then I'm going to go for the student details. Here will be home student. Underneath that, I'm going to have overseas student. Then accommodation, and we're going to see if the student is on exchange program, so we have a column there for exchange. Then the on scholarship, there we go. Now the next thing is the degrees that is the student is studying for. Is a BA, BSc, MA, MA right underneath here, MA, MSc, PhD, there. Okay, now that that is done, let's take care of the modules. Module 1, so the learner will have to pass 8 different modules depending on which year. Module 2, Module 3, Module 4, Module 5, Module 6, Module 7, and Module 8. There we go. The score also, that will be, let's say, score for each unit, for each module. That will be score number 1. I'm going to need 8 of those as well. Score 1, score 2, score 3, score number 4, score 5, score 6, score 7, and score number 8. And we also need something to store the score, that's total score. Then the ranking, either first class or second class and so on. Then the date. There we go. In total I should have 39 fields or 39 columns. Okay, let's click on apply. There we go. Should be, let's go down and see. There we go. I am right, 39 in total. Now click on apply. So that is my database now ready. So I'm going to minimize that. I don't need that anymore. Okay, let's double click on the form so that we can import the following library. So first of all, let's go here. Underneath here, I'm going to have to import MySQL. So let's say using MySQL. Once you've installed SQL, you should be able to see that .data .mysql client. There. So that is taken care of. Now that that is done, right underneath the public partial class, I'm going to declare as follows. So the very first one is going to be MySQL connection, and I'm going to create my own more or less like variable for it. That will be equals new MySQL connection, enter parenthesis. There. I also need MySQL command, so let's come down here and I say MySQL command. There we go, that's it right there. That will be SQL command equals new as well, new MySQL command. Parenthesis. Good. Now what about the table? Data table. That's my data table. I'm just going to call that SQL DT. That will be equals new data table as well. Enter parenthesis. Now I'm going to declare SQL query. I'm going to need that. And let's add MySQL data adapter. Yeah, and that I can just call it DTA equals new data adapter. MySQL data adapter. There we go. What else do we need? We do need a reader for it, so that is MySQL data reader. That will be, let's call that SQLRD. There we go. That is fine. So one more thing that I'm going to need will be the data set. So let's say data set. Yeah, I'm going to call that ds equals new data set. There. All done. So the next thing now is I'm just going to say SQL. Let's just call it server. String server equals, that will be local. That will be a local host, right? So I will also declare a variable for the username. So let's say string username, that will be equals root. You should be able to see that on your workbench. Then string password, that will be equals your password. My password is 12345. There we go. And string data, the database. My database is called CourseDB. That is the name of my database. So we can always verify that from my database, CourseDB. Let's see. Yeah, that is correct. You can even copy it. Copy that and just paste it in here and make sure it's the right one. CourseDB. That is fine. All done. Okay, now let's just pull this little function together so that we can use that to open up this database. So I'm going to create a function right underneath this from initialize components. So the function is going to be known as private void update db. There, that's the name of my function, update db. Okay, the very first one that I want, that is going to be SQL connector here, dot connect, dot connection string, dot connection string, and that will equals the following. The server. The server is going to be the server, so I'm going to grab the server. Let's put that in a quote first, and I'm going to say equals, come out of there, plus the server. Okay, plus the next one is going to be the username. I'm going to grab the username, put that in a quote, equals plus username. There. Now the next one, that will be password. Grab your password again, and right here I'm going to say plus password. Let's put it in a quote, equals password. Alright, so now the next one is going to be, oh, that's password anyway. Now we need password here as well. Right here, password. Okay, that is fine. And finally, the database. Let's grab the database. That is the database. Come right here, paste the database there. It should be in a quote. Database. And that will be equals plus database. And that. Alright. Okay, let's just break it into the second line. Okay, there we go, that's it. You guys should be able to see it now. Alright, looking good. Now let's open up this connector. So I'm going to say MySQL right underneath here, dot open, enter parentheses, and I'm going to get the command SQL command dot connection. That will be equals MySQL connect. And after that, when I want the MySQL command dot command text, that will be equals to as follows. So the SQL statement you want to enter in there, that can be select all from, let's enter a star in there, select all from my database. That's the name of the database, course ID there. Once that is done, we now want it to get executed using the reader, SQL reader here. So come right down here, SQL reader, that will be equals SQL command dot execute reader. That's the first one. Then we also want the SQL DT right here. That's good. Data table dot load, and load the content we have inside the reader, SQL reader. Alright, so we now want to close up SQL reader dot close, and we also need to close the SQL connect dot close there. That is it, all done. And finally, whatever data we have, we now want to be able to get that data from the DataGridVeiw dot data source, and the data source is going to be the SQL DT. There we go. Right, so you see this function, we should call that function right away from the form load. That's the form load right there. Okay, or you can always click on the form to open up your form load there. Alright, that is fine. So I'm going to save that and just try it out, though you guys won't be able to see anything yet. Let's just try it out. If there's any error, so that we can get that sorted. If there's no error, then that means the system is fine. Okay, that's fine. Since there's nothing happening, the database is working as expected. Okay, I'm going to exit out. Let's come right here. You see this? I'm going to double click on that so that whatever data we enter in here, we'll be able to get it on board. Double click on that. So I'm going to start by calling MySQL Connect, and instead of writing or reinventing the wheel, I might as well just copy all of this. Copy that, come right down here, let's paste it here. There we go. Alright, so let's use try cache to get the ball rolling. So I'm going to say try. There we go. Now, first of all, let's ask my connector here, SQL connector, to open up my database. So right in here, ask it dot open. There, and enter parenthesis and semicolon. Alright, to take care of this error, let's enter a cache there so that that one won't be disrupting anything for me. So I'm just going to come right down here and just say cache. The cache and exception EX, and let's enter a message in there. So let me say message box dot show ex dot message. So if there's any error, the system will officially generate a warning for us. So that is fine. Okay, so why do we have this? Right, the show must be uppercase. Alright, that's fine. Then let's say finally I also want as follows. I want the system to close my connector, SQL connector, connect dot close. Right, and if everything goes fine, I want a message box there. Let me copy this. Just want the system to tell us if upload or update is successful. So in there we can just say let's say student management system updated, something like that. There, that's good enough. And I will also call my function, that's the function there, update db. There we go. So that is the cache taken care of, and finally, if there's no error, this should be displayed. Okay, now right inside the try here, we want to do as follows. Okay, we want to use the query that was declared up there. If you guys can still recall, I did declare an SQL query. That is it. So this very SQL query I'm going to insert as follows. So let's say insert into my database. The database is called, yeah, that's it, CourseDB. Insert into CourseDB the following. So the first is going to be the student ID. student ID, comma, first name, comma, surname, comma, we have address, comma, we have gender, comma, mobile phone, comma, email. Let's move this up so that you guys can see it. We have email, up to email now. So I'm going to comma and just press plus, go to next line, and on the next line I'm going to have my, let's enter course, comma, course code, comma, home student, comma, overseas student, then we have accommodation, comma, we have exchange, that's represent exchange program. Then finally we're going to have for that very row we're going to have scholarship. Alright, that is fine. Yeah, those are the 5 data on one of the panel. So the next panel should have BA, BSc. Okay, let's take it down to the next one. Plus, that will be MA, comma, MSc, comma, and PhD. There. Now we have modules, comma, module 1, that is module 1, copy that. I have 8 in total. Module 2, module 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so that is fine. Then the scores for each of the scores, let's say we have score, this will be the score number 1. Let's copy that. We need 8 of those as well. 1, score 2, score 3, score number 4, score 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we then have total score, comma, ranking, comma, and date. Right, that is my fields completed. So now I need to add the value. Where are all these values coming from? All of these are coming from, and they are all coming from here. So the very first one is coming from txt student id dot text. Alright, that's the very first one. And the second one, that would be the first name, comma, apostrophe again, and plus. So the second one, that is going to be txt first name dot text. There. So let's do this. Copy all of these. Yeah. Now the next one, should I just copy this? Yeah, copy this. Okay, copy all of those and just paste that in here. The next one is going to be for surname. txt surname. Paste. Right, we have surname, and after the surname I have address, txt address. Paste. txt no, I think that's going to be CBO gender. Right, there we go. Then we have mobile phone, txt mobile. Paste. Then the next data we have after mobile, that will be date of birth, txt dob. Paste. Right, looking good. So what I'm just doing is adding every single component here straight onto my add new, so that we can add whatever new data that is entered. So maybe just speed that up, then I'll show you guys that. I think based on my arrangement, the mobile phone, or the date of birth, is before mobile phone, dob. So let's change this one to mobile. There we go. Right, and let's kind of like speed up the rest. There, that is it right there. So those are my components on the system from here down here, and this from here up here, those are the fields or the columns on the database. Okay, so let's round up the whole process here. So now I'm going to come right underneath here and do as follows. Let's say SQL command equals new SQL command. So let's just enter MySQL command, and this SQL command will take in the following value that is already declared up there. Okay, SQL query, comma, SQL com. There, enter semicolon. Then SQL rows. Oh, come on. So SQL read data, that will be equals SQL command. Okay, SQL command dot execute reader. There we go. Then we now need to close the connector. SQL connector dot close, and that's all there is to it. So we close the connector with this an error. Why? Oh, semicolon, I believe, and this is supposed to be uppercase, I think. Yeah, and that's it. Okay, let's try this out now. If it works, I should be able to add the data straight onto my database and onto the spreadsheet, the DataGridVeiw as well. Okay, so let's run it. Save that first. Let's bring it down a little bit. Now run. Alright, so let's enter some value in here, and the name is, let's say, is Peter. 45. It's a Newman Lane. Is male. Date of birth. Mobile number. And email. Peter at gmail.com. Speed up the rest process. There, so in here I'm just going to select one of the subject. Let's say it's a BA and it's in second year. We need to enter course code in here. I'm going to make that up. Faculty, it's a School of Art. Dean, Doc, okay, that's a Professor Grace Moore. Program Leader, Dr. James. And here, course tutor, let's say Dr. Ayo Joy. There. And here, let's just make this up, select whatever in there. And these other ones, they are all disabled, so that will give us nothing. So decisions time anyway, so let's just try out this. If this information is on the database, we should be able to see it here. So let's go back in there and click on add. There we go. I think there's an error somewhere. Okay, column does not match. Okay, that is at okay, row 1, count at row 1. So it is successful, but let's see. No, it's not. Alright, let's see what was the error. Doesn't match. Look here guys, I think this is where the error is. Date of birth is missing here. Yeah, I believe that is the error. We have gender. There should be DOB. Then we have mobile phone and so on. In total there should be 39. So I'm going to count that. It seems I do have 39 columns now, so I'm going to run it one more time. Click on run, and I'm just going to speed up this whole process here. So let's speed that up. Okay, we've got this populated. Let's populate this. And the course code is BSc. There. Faculty, School of Computing. Professor Dave Morehouse. Right, and course leader Dr. Sammy Stone, Dr. King Larry. Alright, so I'm going to leave the rest the way it is, just populate this one. Hopefully we should have enough records now in there. Okay, try it out again. Yeah, it is successful. Click on OK, and if I click in here, there we go. That's the data that I've just entered. That's good. Right, there's nothing in here. The 3 total score, ranking, and date. And if I come in here now, let's go to my database. There's nothing in here. So I did no, I think it's this one. That's the wrong database. So let's come in here. Yeah, this one. There we go. That's it right there. Okay, let's minimize that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to call it the end of the second part of this tutorial, and I will see you guys shortly.